கருவறை தாண்டிய நொடியில் எந்தன் காதில் ஏந்திய மொழியே உன்னை. கருவறை தாண்டிய நொடியில் எந்தன் காதில் ஏந்திய மொழியே உன்னை. கடல் கடந்து வேர்க்கரை புகுந்தாலும் மறவே நோவும் மகிமைகளை. கடல் கடந்து வேர்க்கரை புகுந்தாலும் மறவே நோவும் மகிமைகளை. மனிதனாகிய உன் பெருமைகளை. தாய் தமிழே 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 தாய் தமிழே. தாய் நிதனி சரி சரி தப மப தப மத மம கரி சரி சப மப கமரி சரி கம பத மப தப மனி தப மதபா மதபா மதபா. மழலையில் வாயால் மொழிந்தேனே மழையென உனதருமைகள் பொழிந்தேனே. மழலையில் வாயால் மொழிந்தேனே மழையென உனதருமைகள் பொழிந்தேனே. இனித்திடும் சொற்களில் தீத்திப்பில் இனித்திடும் சொற்களில் தீத்திப்பில் மிக திகைத்திடனாகும் திகைத்தேனே. மிக திகைத்திடனாகும் திகைத்தேனே. தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே. செம்பனை தேசமெங்கும் வீசும் உந்தன் வாசம். செம்பனை தேசமெங்கும் வீசும் உந்தன் வாசம். எந்தன் சிந்தை மகிழ வீச கண்டேன் வாசமாக. சிந்தை மகிழ வீச கண்டேன் சுவாசமாக. சுவாசமாக கலந்த உன்னை தாயா. சுவாசமாக கலந்த உன்னை தாயாய் நேசம் கொண்டேன். சுவாசமாக கலந்த உன்னை தாயாய் நேசம் கொண்டேன். தாய் தமிழே எந்தன் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் 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 தாய் தமிழே. தமிழே 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 தமிழே. தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே தாய் தமிழே என் தாய் தமிழே. உலக தமிழர் நெஞ்சில் எங்கும் நீ கமரை நிறைந்தவளே நீ வாழியவே. உலக தமிழர் நெஞ்சில் எங்கும் நீ கமரை நிறைந்தவளே நீ வாழியவே. காடு
A very good evening to the teachers, parents, and students. I'm Lavanya Krishnamurthy from SJKT Ladang Dovenby and will be the moderator for today's session. Before I start, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today in our YouTube live classroom, which is brought to you by Sudaroli Valaiyoli YouTube channel in collaboration with the Millennium Para Indian Community Society. I would like to convey our appreciation to the President of the Society and former Headmaster of SJKT Bagan Mr. R. Jayagopalan, and not forgetting the entire team working hard for us behind the scene, Ms. Parimala, our Education Officer from PPD Manjung, Mr. Gunalan, our Education Officer from PPD Manjung, Ms. Pusparada, the headmistress of SJKT Kampung Columbia, Mr. Tanesh Balakrishnan, the ICT teacher from SJKT Ladang Nova Scotia 1, and Ms. Sarala Krishnan, the ICT teacher from SJKT Kampung Tun Sambandan. I would also like to thank our Human Resource Minister, Dr. M. Saravanan, the Perak State Education Department, Perak District Education Office, eDIDIK, MindAppz, Pertubuhan, Kesusasteraan Bharati, and the online media supporters Anigan.com and Yen Tamil. Despite schools being reopened along with the Recovery Movement Control Order, the spirit to continue educating our children is still strong among us as educators. We greatly value and appreciate everyone's support towards the Sudaroli Valaiyoli team. Your constant support helps to boost our confidence and motivate us to do more for our community. Therefore, please allow me to introduce the speaker for today's session. She is Miss Kosila, an English language teacher currently teaching at SJKT Ladang Serapoh. She has been teaching English since 2015 and teaching Year 6 since 2016. She is also the head of the English language panel and the CEFR district trainer. Today, she will be sharing her insights on adverbs with all of us. There are a few reminders for all viewers, especially to the students. First, please use the chat box for positive comments. Second, use appropriate language. Third, use the live chat to ask questions about today's topic. Fourth, don't post unnecessary emojis and unwanted messages because it will distract the others. If anyone goes against the rules stated, the admin will block you from the live chat. Hope the rules are understandable to all. Without further ado, I would like to pass the session to our speaker today to start her lesson. Miss Kosila, let's explore adverbs together.
Thank you, moderator, Miss Lavanya. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm delighted to be here and I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to the Sudaroli Valaiyoli team for granting me this opportunity. Without further ado, let's begin our lesson for today. In today's lesson, we will be focusing on adverbs. We will learn more about the function of adverbs and the different types of adverbs in English. All right, let's move on. Students, what do you think adverbs are? Have you ever come across the word adverbs? I'm sure you have. So what do you think they are? All right, let's see. Adverbs describe or modify a verb, adjective, or another adverb. If you want to know further about this, let's have a look at our examples. Okay, as you can see in the picture, a boy is eating lunch. So normally the sentence is, I ate my lunch. But when we use adverb, it describes the word ate. I ate my lunch quickly. So the adverb here is quickly. It describes the manner in which the boy eats his lunch. So that's why just now we mentioned that adverbs describe verbs, adjective, or another adverbs. It modifies it. Let's have a look at the second example. Divya sees many kitchens outside. The adverb here is the word outside. So the word outside describes the action word sees. Sees is a verb, right? And let's have a look at the third example. My mother came home early. So, which is the adverb here? Right. Early is the adverb here. The word early describes the action word came. So came is the verb. So this is why we say that adverbs describes or modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. We'll have a further look as we go through this session. An adverb is a verb that tells something more about a verb. Adverb answers 5 main questions, which are how often, where, when, and how much. How something happens. How often something happens. Where does something happen? When does something happen? And how much? Sometimes we add the word li to an adjective to get an adverb. For example, the dress is elegant. So the word elegant here is an adjective. The adjective describes the noun dress. So the writer is saying the dress is elegant. But when we can even write this sentence in another way, which is, she dresses elegantly. The word elegantly here is an adverb. The adverb here describes the verb dresses. So if you can see here, there are 2 examples. You just have to add ly to an adjective to get an adverb. There are some words ending in li which are adjectives and not adverbs. Please be reminded, not every word that ends with ly is an adverb. Okay, for example, Sia was wearing a lovely dress for the party. Okay, the lovely here means it's an adjective. Even though it ends with an ly, it's not an adverb. Why? Why do we say that it is not an adverb? Okay, because the word lovely, which is the adjective in this sentence, describes the noun dress. Adverbs do not describe nouns. Adverbs only describes a verb, adjective, or another adverb. It never describes noun. So please do not be confused with the use of adjective and adverbs. Right. I just finished talking about confused, right? So, do you often get confused with adverbs and adjectives? If yes, please have a look at this hint. You have to remember this. Adverbs describe verbs, whereas adjective describes nouns. It is 2 different things. An adverb never ever describes a noun. Okay, for example, I ate a heavy meal. The word heavy here is an adjective. It describes the noun meal. Let's have a look at another example. I ate heavily. It's the same sentence with a different structure, am I right? So I ate a heavy meal. I ate heavily. The word ate here is the verb. whereas the word heavily is the adverb. The adverb describes the verb. Are you clear? Let's move on to the different types of adverbs. There are many different types of adverbs, but normally people focus on 5 types of adverbs. The first type of adverb that we are going to focus on today is adverbs of manner. Correct. So which of the 5 questions does the adverbs of manner answer? How, when, where, how much, or how often? Adverbs of manner answer the question how. Let's focus on the second adverb. Adverbs of degree. The third adverb. Adverbs of place. Adverbs of place answer the question of where. Where does something happen? Where does something take place? Adverbs of time. Adverbs of time answer the question when. When does something happen? When will it occur? So adverbs of time are focused on answering the question when. And the last adverb that we are going to focus on today is adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency answer the question how often. How often does something happen? First of all, before we move on, do you have any questions? All right. Then let's have a look at our first adverb. Adverbs of manner. Okay, when do we use adverbs of manner? The word manner here is almost similar to the meaning behavior. So when we are talking about behavior, the word that always comes to mind is the word how. An adverb of manner tells how something is done or happens. When do we use adverb of manner? Okay, please remember every adverb has a position where we can use it. So when do we use adverbs of manner? We use it at the beginning or end of a sentence. It is normally used in this order. Okay, for example, he gossips incessantly. He gossips without stopping. Okay, the word incessantly here means adverb of manner. Gossips is the verb. So, this is the adverb of manner. Let's have a look at another example. She plays tennis excellently. So, how does she play tennis? She plays tennis is a normal sentence. How do you want to make the sentence more interesting? So, you make the sentence more interesting by adding adverbs. She plays tennis excellently. That means she is a very, very good tennis player. Okay, if she is a bad tennis player, how do you say it? You say she plays tennis poorly. Okay, this is how you use the adverb of manner. You tell how something is done or happens. Mikael speaks Spanish beautifully. The last one, the soldiers fought bravely. So how did the soldiers fight? They fought bravely. Adverbs of manner are usually found by adding ly to the end of an adjective. Okay, how do you do that? Okay, for example, let's have a look at the adjectives given here. Graceful. So the adverb, when you change it to adverb of manner, you should add ly. So it becomes gracefully. Gracefully with a double L. Careful becomes carefully. Quick becomes quickly. Slow becomes slowly. And bad becomes badly. For example, they did badly in their examination because they did not study well. Let's have a look at another way to form adverbs of manner. Adverbs that end in Y are usually replaced with I before adding ly. For example, let's have a look at the adjective here. Happy, easy, noisy, hungry, lazy. So how do you change them to adverb of manner? Happy becomes happily. You change the Y here to I and then you add ly. Easy becomes easily. Noisy becomes noisily. Hungry becomes hungrily. Lazy becomes lazily. You remove the Y and then you add ily, lazily. Adverbs that end in le are usually replaced with ly. For example, reasonable becomes reasonably. The E at the end of reasonable is replaced with ly. Okay, simple becomes simply. E is replaced with Y and E is replaced with ly. Preferable becomes preferably. Terrible becomes terribly. Gentle becomes gently. Some adverbs do not change and have the same form as adjectives. Okay, please remember some adverbs do not change at all. They remain the same form as their adjective partner. Okay, some adverbs that remains in the same form are as shown below. Fast, hard, early, late, right, wrong. So they maintain the same form in their adjective and in their adverb form. Okay, I hope you're clear with the spelling rules. And if you're confused, it's okay. It's a learning process and you can always go back and watch this video for more information. Let's look at our first. So are you clear with the adverbs of manner which we have learned before? Let's look at some questions to test your understanding. Okay, what you have to do is you have to make adverbs from the adjectives in bracket. So we have gone through the ways to make adverbs from adjectives and then we will use the knowledge here. Let's have a look at the first question. My parents were dash happy married. The word happy in the bracket is the adjective. So how do you form this sentence? How do you make adverb from the word happy? What do you add? All right, please remember, happy ends with an Y. So when there is the word Y, what should you do? You must replace the word Y with I, and then you must add ly. So the answer is, my parents were happily married. My parents were happily married. Remove the word Y, replace it with I, and then plus ly. Let's have a look at the second question. Wei Xiong and his friends dash quick finished their homework. Wei Xiong and his friends quickly finished their homework. So again, the word it ends with the word K. So behind the word ly is added to make it an adverb. The adjective quick is transformed into the adverb quickly by adding ly. Let's proceed to the third question. Drive dash slow here because the road is wet. Okay, how do you change the adjective slow into an adverb? Take some time and please think about it. How do you change the word slow into an adverb? You change them by adding the word ly. So the answer is drive slowly here because the road is wet. Drive slowly here because the road is wet. Okay, are you clear about the adverbs of manner? If you are, let's move on to the second adverb. Adverbs of degree. Okay, when do you use adverbs of degree? What question does it answer? An adverb of degree tells how much or to what extent something is done or happens. How much or to what extent? It modifies verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. When do we use it? We use it before the word it modifies. Okay. Let's have a look at the examples given. She swims fairly slowly. The adverb of degree here is fairly. The word fairly here modifies the word slowly. So, as you can see, the adverb of degree is used before the word it modifies. Let's look at the following examples. She swims pretty slowly. She swims very slowly. She swims really slowly. She swims extremely slowly. So if you can see, the context of the sentence is the same. She swims slowly, but the different usage of adverb of degree tells us how much or to what extent is she swimming. Is she swimming quickly? Is she swimming slowly? So the word fairly, the word pretty, the word very, really, extremely shows the different rate of how she is swimming. This is the function of adverbs of degree. What are the other words that are commonly used as adverbs of degree besides the example given previously? Can you recall any words? All right, let's have a look at the words that are commonly used as adverbs of degree. The word very, so, to, extremely, absolutely, completely, more, hardly, enough, almost, nearly, quite. So these are the words that are used as adverbs of degree. For example, I almost drowned. I was extremely embarrassed. That means you were very embarrassed. So instead of using the word you were very, 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 very embarrassed, you can use the word extremely. I was extremely embarrassed. So for example, it shows different level of how much. So for example, I am very embarrassed, I am extremely embarrassed. So there is a difference there. So this is the function of adverbs of degree. It shows how much or to what extent something is done or happens. Let's have a look at some examples of adverbs of degree while doing the exercises. This is to give you a clearer understanding about the adverbs of degree. Choose the correct answer. Have a look at the first question. He didn't try very, almost, or hard. So what is the correct answer here? He didn't try very, almost, or he didn't try very hard. What do you think is the correct answer here? He didn't try very hard. The word hard is the adverb of degree. That means he didn't try very much. He only tried a little bit. There was not much effort put in. Let's move on to the next question. She's a skilled engineer. The words given here are much or highly. So which is the correct answer? She's a much skilled engineer or she's a highly skilled engineer. Let's reveal the answer. She's a highly skilled engineer. The word highly skilled engineer here means she is an extremely experienced engineer. She has lots of experience, so she is highly skilled. Let's look at the last question. Maria swims extremely slowly, or Maria swims more slowly. Which word is the correct adverb of degree to be used in this situation? Come on, try. So which is the correct answer? Let's reveal the answer. Maria swims extremely slowly. That means Maria is very, very, very slow in swimming. Are you clear about the adverb of degree? If you are, let's move on. If you are not, please post your questions in the comment box. Okay, let's move on to the next adverb. Adverbs of place. These adverbs of place are made up of words that I am sure you are very familiar with. So, when do we use adverbs of place? In what situation? An adverb of place tells us where something is done or happens. So an adverb of place focuses on the question where. So when do we use an adverb of place? Where do we use the adverb of place? Which position do we use it in a sentence? Do you know? Okay, we usually use adverbs of place after the main verb. We usually use it after the main verb. Okay, please remember it's after. For example, there is a fair nearby. So the highlighted word in yellow is the adverb of place. The main verb here is the word fair. There is a fair nearby. The adverb of place, which is nearby, is used after the main verb fair. Here are the books you wanted. Sihan is putting the toys inside the box. Ashley ran upstairs to her bedroom. Let's look at the second sentence. Here are the books you wanted. Let's have a look at the third sentence. Sihan is putting the toys inside the box. So the adverb of place here shows that he's putting the toys inside a box. Ashley ran upstairs to her bedroom. The adverb of place upstairs is used after the main verb ran. Some other examples of adverbs of place. Okay, before I reveal the words, can you come up with some other examples? All right, let's have a look. Everywhere, upstairs, downstairs, anywhere, there, here, nowhere, somewhere, up, down, outside, inside, out, in, near, away. These are some of the examples of adverbs of place. Okay, there may be more words, but these are some of the main verbs that we usually use as adverbs of place. Okay, for example, can you do a sentence with everywhere? Let me give you an example. Mr. Ramesh looked everywhere for his books. So for example, if it's in a house, he looked everywhere. So he searched the whole house. Mr. Ramesh looked everywhere for his books. Somewhere. Let's go somewhere for the holidays. Nowhere. Nurul has nowhere to go. Nearby. How do you use nearby? The king's man built a castle nearby. Okay, outside. How can you use the word outside? Sarah threw the rubbish outside. Let's have a look at another word. Let's try another sentence. Inside. Okay, when can you use inside? Tina plays with her cats inside the house. Are you clear? Let me give you another example before we move on. For example, the word there. The pyramids are over there. Let's move on to the questions for adverbs of place. So for this section, you have to choose the correct answer. There may be several answers, but you have to choose the best answer that there is. So please take some time to review the questions and the options given. Question number 1. Do you want to go outside or nowhere to play? So which is the best answer? Both are adverbs of place, but what is the best answer in this situation? Do you want to go outside to play? Do you want to go nowhere to play? Let's reveal the answer. Do you want to go outside to play? Okay, the word outside here may mean outside your house, outside the house, which may mean the playground. So do you want to go outside to play? Nowhere means no places. So where do you want to play? There is no place for you to play. So nowhere is the wrong answer. So the correct answer is, do you want to go outside to play? Let's look at the second question. Which tourist destinations are nearby or everywhere for us to visit? So which is the best answer in this situation? Nearby or everywhere? Let's have a look. Which tourist destinations are nearby for us to visit? Let's reveal the third question. Ravi looked everywhere or nowhere for his art supplies. So Ravi is finding his art supplies. So where does he look for it? Does he look for it everywhere? Or does he look for it nowhere? Which is the correct answer in this situation? The correct answer is Ravi looked everywhere for his art supplies. That means he left no place unturned. He looked everywhere for his art supplies. All right, students, are you clear till now about the use of adverbs of place? Okay, please remember again, adverbs of place is used to answer the question where. Where does something happen? So you use the adverbs of place to indicate where. All right, if you're clear about adverbs of place, let's move on to the next adverb, which we are going to discuss today. Adverbs of time. Time. When we talk about time, we always talk about morning, evening, afternoon, night. So, what are the words that consist of adverbs of time? When do we use adverbs of time? What question does adverbs of time answer? Let's have a look. An adverb of time tells when something is done. So, the adverb of time answers the question when. Where do we use it in a sentence? Do we use it at the beginning? Do we use it in the middle? Or do we use it at the ending? We use it at the beginning or end of a sentence. For example, should we shut the shop now? The word now here is the adverb of time. So, in this situation, we are using it at the ending of a sentence. Yesterday, Helmi went to Cameron Highlands. In this situation, the adverb of time is the word yesterday. So, in this situation, we are using the adverb of time at the beginning of the sentence. Yesterday, Helmi went to Cameron Highlands. Let's have a look at another example. Let's have chicken curry for dinner tonight, said mother. So the adverb of time here is the highlighted word, tonight. So in this situation, we are using it at the end of the sentence. We are using the adverb of time tonight to indicate when are we going to eat chicken curry for dinner. Is it tonight? Is it tomorrow? So in this situation, it is tonight. Let's look at the last example. He did a PowerPoint presentation. Then he presented it to his classmates. Okay, if you can see here, there are two sentences here. He did a PowerPoint presentation is the first sentence. The second sentence is, then he presented it to his classmates. So in this situation, it shows an order. First, he did a PowerPoint presentation. Then he presented it to his classmates. The word then here is the adverb of time. In this situation, the word then is used at the beginning of the sentence. So these are the some examples of adverbs of time. Now, yesterday, tonight, then. There are more adverbs of time than I have mentioned previously. Let's have a look at them. Yesterday. Today. What is happening today? Today is my birthday. Tonight. Let's go to the cinema tonight. Let's play Scrabble tonight. Then. Now. What is happening now? Can we go to the supermarket now? Tomorrow. Will you be presenting tomorrow? Will you go to your tuition class tomorrow? Soon. What sentences can you make from the word soon? One of the sentences will be, please wait for me. We shall move soon. And the last one would be just. Please take note, there are many more adverbs of time, but these are the words which are mainly used. So I have listed a few words which are mainly used here, but there are more adverbs of time and you can feel free to do more research on this. Are you clear about the adverbs of time? Do you know when to use it? All right, if you do, let's move on to the exercises for adverbs of time. In this exercise, you have to find the adverbs of time in the sentences below. So find it. Example, the first question. My father has just put up the jalur gemilang in front of our house. Okay, recall the adverbs of time which you have learned. Take some time to think about it. Let's look at the question again. My father has just put up the jalur gemilang in front of our house, which is the find the adverbs of time. Just, the word just is the adverbs of time here. My father has just put up the jalur gemilang in front of our house. That means he just put it now. That's why they use the word just. Number 2. Sheila and her brother are going to their tuition now. What is the adverb of time in this sentence? I'm sure you have found it by now. Let's reveal the answer. Sheila and her brother are going to their tuition now. Now is the adverb of time in this sentence. Let's look at the third question. We drew a mural. Then we painted it beautifully. So if you notice here, there are two sentences here describing two different actions. So please find the adverbs of time in these sentences. We drew a mural, then we painted it beautifully. The word then here is the adverb of time in these sentences. Are you clear about the use of adverb of time? Adverbs of time? I hope you are, because we shall move on to our last adverb of the day. Adverbs of frequency. What questions does adverbs of frequency answer? Where do we use an adverb of frequency in a sentence? Let's have a look. An adverb of frequency tells how often or how many times something is done. It talks about whether a thing is done for many times or only a few times. We use adverbs of frequency before the main verb. Okay, please remember we use it before the main verb. For example, he often fights with me. The verb in this sentence is the word fights. So since we have to use adverbs of frequency before the main verb, the word often here is the adverb of frequency. He often fights with me. Let's have a look at another example. Have you ever fallen asleep while studying? The adverb of frequency in this sentence is the word ever, whereas the verb in this sentence is the word fallen. So the adverb of frequency ever is used before the main verb fallen. Let's look at the last example. Our parents seldom bring us to fast food restaurants. The word seldom here is the adverb of frequency, and it is used before the main verb bring. So our parents seldom bring us to fast food restaurants. Are you clear about the function of adverbs of frequency and where to use it? Let's move on and have a look at how do we determine the degree of frequency. What words do we use and when do we use them? Okay, if you see here, I've given you a timeline. This is one of the easier method for you to understand more about degree of frequency. Okay, if you can see here, the 0% timeline moves on to 100%. Below 0%, you can see the word never. So never means it has never been done before. Then after that, you move on to a bit more seldom, sometimes, often, usually, always. Seldom, sometimes, often, usually, always. So always means it is always done. And the word seldom, sometimes, often, and usually describes different level, different degree of frequency. As they move forward in the timeline, the more often the thing is done, and that particular word is used. If you are not clear with this timeline, there is another method which you can use to determine the degree of frequency, and let's have a look at that method. 100%. 100% you always, this is a pyramid method. When it is said that 100%, the word that is commonly associated with 100% is always. For example, you are always late. That means that person is consistently late. It can be said that he's late every day. So that's why it's 100%. All right, 75% usually. So we usually go to the cinema on Saturday. So when it's a 75%, and when you use the word usually, it describes that some Saturdays you go to the cinema and some Saturdays you don't. But more often, it's more often that you go to the cinema. For example, if there's 4 Saturdays in a month, it may be that you go to the cinema on 3 Saturdays of the month. You only don't go to the cinema on 1 Saturday of the month. So this is where we use the word usually. Let's move on. 50%. Often. Do they often cook? So you can even ask questions using the adverbs. So do they often cook? So it indicates often. 25% sometimes. Sometimes means very rarely. So it's not as frequent as often or usually or always. For example, we sometimes go hiking. So maybe in a month, maybe you go hiking for 2 or 3 times. So we sometimes go hiking, very, very rarely. And 10%, hardly ever or rarely. Amelia hardly ever smiles or laughs. So Amelia may be a grumpy person. So she never smiles, she hardly smiles or laughs. It's very rare for you to see her laughing. So that's why you use the word hardly ever or rarely or seldom. And 0% never. Never means it has never been done before. So for example, Hisham never goes out without his parents' permission. So in this case, it means that Hisham always asks for his parents' permission and he never goes out without his parents' permission. So are you clear with this pyramid? All right, let's move on. And then please look at this. When you use never and hardly ever, you must use never and hardly ever with positive verbs. For example, he isn't never late. That is wrong because isn't is not a positive verb. It's a negative verb. So how must you use it? The correct way to use it is he is never late. That is the correct sentence. Let's look at hardly ever. They don't hardly ever go to the library. That is a wrong sentence because don't is a negative verb. So you must use never and hardly ever with a positive verb. Let's look at the correct sentence. They hardly ever go to the library. Are you clear? Okay. If you are, let's move on to the exercises. Place the adverb correctly in each of the sentences. Irfan studies at his own table. So where do you place this adverb? Irfan studies at his own table is a complete sentence. But now you want to place an adverb to modify the verb. So where do we use it? Let's reveal the answer. Irfan always studies at his own table. The adverb is placed before the main verb. The girls and boys play badminton in the evening. The adverb that you must use here is usually. So where can you place the adverb? Let's have a look. The girls and boys usually play badminton in the evening. Let's move on to the next question. Have you won a singing competition? So where do you place this adverb? Where do you place the word ever? Have you ever won a singing competition? So you place the word ever before the verb won. If you are clear with this, let's move on. Adverbs like adjectives have 3 degrees of comparison, which are positive, comparative, and superlative. Only adverbs of manner, degree, and time can be compared. Many adverbs cannot be compared at all. For example, adverbs of frequency cannot be compared. So let's look at some examples of adverbs which can be compared. Positive, comparative, superlative. It's similar to adjective. So when you have the word positive, good, it becomes, in comparative, it becomes better, and in superlative, it becomes best. Let's look at the second one. Small becomes smaller, smallest. Gracefully becomes more gracefully, most gracefully. For example, she is dancing more gracefully than her partner. So that is a comparative adverb. Patiently, more patiently, most patiently. Little, less, least. Much, more, most. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. So these are the some adverbs which can be compared. If you are clear about this, let's do a recap on our lesson for today. Adverbs describe or modify a verb, adjective, or another adverb. So that is the function of adverb. Okay, how many adverbs have we studied for today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have studied 5 adverbs. The first one is adverbs of frequency, which answers the question, how often? The second adverb is adverbs of time, which answers the question, when? When does something happen? The third adverb is adverbs of manner, which answers the question, how? It tells how an action is being performed, how a situation occurred. The fourth adverb is adverbs of degree, which answers the question, how much or how little. Adverbs of degree tells the extent or degree to which an action is performed. The last adverb is adverbs of place, which answers the question, where. It tells us where something happened, where something occurred. Okay, please remember there are more adverbs than those that are listed here, but these 5 adverbs are the ones that are commonly and frequently used. Please remember their function and please remember their position in a sentence. So, I hope what I have taught you today is beneficial for all of you. If you need to recall any part of this lesson, you can always rewatch the video on this YouTube channel. Thank you for listening in.
Thank you, teacher, for your clear explanation on the topic. On behalf of the Sudaroli Valaiyoli team, we would like to thank Mrs. Kosila for spending her time and giving some useful information. Special thanks to all viewers out there for being with us throughout the session, whether on YouTube or Facebook Live. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click the notification bell for upcoming classes. There is an ad for tomorrow's class. I'm sure you can have a look at the slide. Okay, that's all for today. We shall meet you again in the next lesson. Take care and goodbye.